Okay, students of Advanced GIS, um, I wanted to make a couple of more videos about Lab 3 here in 2024. And most of you have probably at this point gotten to making your stream network for the Pleasant Creek watershed near Capitol Reef National Park. I wanted to talk about a few things as you basically select that trunk stream. Um, One thing that you need to be aware of is issues where it's possible that some of the um, watershed lines basically aren't what you want them to be to create your trunk stream. So like when you go out and select that trunk stream, so if I'm going to go map, select, and then add to the current selection to make my life easy so nothing gets, I don't have to hit control click, I can just click. So if we were to zoom out, you might think, well, at this scale, I can just, select all this and say, boom, oh, we got to be careful also of other things. Like I had my PC watershed turned on, and so I selected that as well, my Pleasant Creek watershed. So if you do that, go back here, remove from current selection, say OK, click there. And then a good way to solve that problem is to turn off the watershed itself. But we have another problem. So I'll keep it on remove from current selection, because if I zoom in, you'll see the issue. So for doing your topographic profile later, we don't want to have all these little side streams on there. That's going to confuse things. So you need to be careful as you're selecting things through to create the trunk stream that you don't get issues like this that you're creating problems with. So if you get to a place like this, click just one side. Oh, you got to switch back to add to current selection. So you can highlight just one side, the next thing, control scroll to see where the next issue is, and keep going. Okay, so I've already done that. And so I'm going to clear my selection. So you can see that I've added a trunk stream already. And you also need to make sure that you don't get lost and you go up the right stream. And you can see that I have done that. Pleasant Creek snakes from the Fremont through here, kind of wraps around. It almost feels like it wants to be stream captured over here, but it doesn't. Or maybe it wants to bypass and go over here. It doesn't, it goes over here. So anyways, yeah, you follow it up through. I took mine up onto the plateau, and when I got there, it was like, well, what's my main stream? I could have gone over here to the right. I just kind of kept it fairly straight to the end there. Okay, so now at this point, I have opened up that trunk stream. Basically what I did is I had selected them. Once I had it selected in PC streams, I exported the features that were selected to a new layer and called it the trunk stream. Because when you have only selected like some features and you do export data, export features, it will only only export what's selected. But I have many objects, each of those line segments. And so we need to simplify that to make our profile. I think I want to use the merge tool, so I'm going to try that first. So, might not be it. Yeah, so yeah, I'm going to PC trunk stream merge and merge rule first. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to run it and see what that looks like. I'll know it's worked if I only have one object in the end. That's what I'm looking for. So let's open the merge attribute table, turn that attribute table. Yeah, that didn't work. Okay, so let's remove that. That's not what we wanted. Okay, so is it dissolve? Might be dissolve. This aggregates features based upon specified attributes. So now input the trunk stream and to dissolve. And maybe what I see checked, create multi-part features, specify whether multi-part features are allowed in that but feature class, checked. Multi-part features are allowed. This is the default, unchecked, not allowed. Instead, creating multi-part features, individual features are created for each part. So we want to create multi-part features because we have multi-parts and we don't want individuals. So yeah, all right, let's run it like that. Dissolve. Okay, so there's my dissolves, and I'm going to open that one's attribute table, and boom, look at that. And I can see my shape length is 56.7 kilometers, or 56,713 meters. Cool, so that's the length of my stream, so that's kind of a nice thing to see. Okay, so I'm going to remove other ones so I don't get confused. So I have my dissolved feature now, and I'm going to select my dissolve feature by just turn off my other streams for a moment. I'm going to select it. Okay. I'm going to turn back on my watershed so you can see where we are. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to do was to see if this then allows me to create a digital elevation model topographic profile along the stream. So I've already added a ground elevation surface. So remember, you just go add data, elevation source, and then find it. In this case, I've added in the fill DEM. And then I would go to analysis, exploratory 3D analysis, and then choose it from a layer that is selected, and that's my trunk stream that's been dissolved. So I'll apply it and see if I get the type of profile that I would expect. Keep getting this same issue, I believe, where it's not quite going through the whole stretch. So not everything is being shown. So that's one issue to work on. So I think maybe what we need to do is to create route. Let's try that first. Okay, so I'm going to go to geoprocessing. And I'm going to create route. This is in what's called linear referencing tools. So we can create routes. So I'll open that. So I'll input my dissolve feature. And we need a route identifier field, which we do not have. So let me open up that attribute table. There's not much in here, you'll notice. We don't have anything but default fields. So I'm going to add a field. And I'm just going to call it number. And I left it as a long integer, and I'll click save. Now I'm going to edit it, giving it the number 1, just like attribute of the object ID, and hit enter, go back to edit, click save. Yes. And now let's go back into this tool, put the line feature again. Now I have an option for number as my route identifier. And now I'm going to call this PC trunk stream route. And I am going to prioritize it flowing from the lower left corner of the data. So down here. You know what? let's switch it up to upper right, because that's very clearly one thing. Okay, so the starting nodes will be to the upper right, and so my profile should probably start on the left when I draw it afterwards. Okay, let's run that. So created a route. So now I'm going to turn off the dissolve, and I'm going to look at the attribute of that route. Okay, not too different. And we need to select the route. And now we'll go back to analysis and 3D analysis from layer, route, and apply. Okay, I've got another issue. It's not showing up all the way here, so let me close this. So it's not quite connected. Something's disjointed. Let's zoom in to where it becomes disjointed. See if there's a reason. Ah, look at that. When I was going through with my stream profile, I missed a line segment, and that's my problem. Okay, so to solve that, we can simply edit our feature. And so I'll turn on the underlying streams, and you can see why I might have done that. And I will modify create in this boom, they're connected now. But I do have to kind of probably redissolve it. That's going to be annoying. Okay, let's save that and see if that works. So save all edits, yes. Okay, now what are we going to do? Now we're going to close this. Now I'm going to go select all again, and I'll go back to analysis and see if it works without rerunning some other things. Bye. I've got another problem. You can see that it doesn't have everything, and it ends somewhere about right here, so I must have another hole. So I need to go back in and find it. Oh yeah, look at that. So we'll go back to edit, create, and on the trunk stream, I do this a number of ways, and this can make it simpler. I'll go straight through that middle. And I'm gonna save that. Yes. I'm going to clear and close this. Now I'm going to select all again and try once more. I think I have some other issues. Let's do it again. Okay, this is looking a lot better. But not all the way. Okay, I found another one. Okay. Boom. All right, so go back into edit, create, line, let's join them, the endpoints, finish sketch, and save. Yes. Select all. Okay. Close this. Go back into analysis. Try once more. I think I still might have one, but we'll cross our fingers. So yeah, don't miss stream segments that'll mess up your profile as well. That's looking promising. Yes, now where is it? It's still loading. Okay. It did work. Okay, so I can now follow the stream profile all the way up. So we can see over here where it's coming up onto the plateau, there's a prominent nick point. We've got another nick point here, one right in here, and kind of a just general change in slope right about here. And so to look at those changes in slope in your profile, I ask you to plot the location of geologic contacts and also the location of prominent stream joinings, or where basically tributaries join the river. And so what you're going to want to do to kind of make that happen is I would go and create a new point file. So you can go into your geodatabase and create a new feature class, and we'll call it a point file. And in this case, we're going to call it, I'm going to do one for tributaries because I don't have the geologic map loading. So this will just be an example. And this is asking if it wants to store 3D information. Actually, that would be cool. I think might help us plot them along the route. So I'm going to say finish. Okay, and now I'm going to clear my selection. And I'm going to even close this profile. But basically, what I want to do is see, if the big nick points have something to do with geology or stream joinings. And so I'm not going to pay attention to small tributaries. Like I know up here that there's a big nick zone right here. And there is also a tributary nearby, but I can also see this geologic cliff, which is the top of, there's like a contact between what's called basalt, it's a lava rock, and like glacial debris. And it's going to be the geologic contact there, most likely. This is a tiny little stream. It's no bigger than this other one. It's not the cause of that. So I'm not going to pay attention to making new tributaries like that. But we're going to go to edit. We're going to create points in tributaries. So I click on tributaries, click point. And so where I start seeing kind of some more bigger areas of kind of tributaries coming in, I'll put a line there. I'll have it snap to the stream. So there was one. These are all small ones running through here, but when you get down here, you get quite a big one. So I'm going to put one right there. And here's a bunch more. Also right here, major tributaries. And then right here, you have another set of two. I'll put that right in between them because I'm not sure what might be responsible. And then there's another one down here that's fairly significant. The other ones I wouldn't say are. So that's kind of it. There's not too many. Okay, so now I'm going to save my major tributaries. Okay, and I'm going to open the attribute of them, attribute table. And we don't have a lot of fields, and I think when we want to locate these, we might need another field to locate by. So I'm going to call this position, and it'll just be like upstream or downstream, 1 through whatever. So integer, long integer is good. It can be short integer, really. Save a little space. Okay, so then I save that. And if I click on them, I think I did them in order, right? So should just be able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, wait, I probably want to do this differently, right? Because I started my profile, I believe, at the bottom. Not sure now. Let's check that one more time. So let's select all. I might have not done that. And then we go back to analysis, 3D analysis, elevation profile from that selected route. So if it starts low on the left, then I need to reverse these. If it's okay, it does kind of look like that, right? So let's make this bigger so I can see that. Yeah, low on the left. So I need to make this 6, 5, 4, just so I don't confuse. 2, 1. Oh, 3. Goodness. That's 1. Okay, now I'll go back to edit, click save. Yes. Okay. So now we're going to go to geoprocessing, and we're going to back up. We're not creating a route. Now we're going to locate features along this route. So our input features are the tributaries, and our route features is the PC trunk stream route. And okay, and then you can apply a search radius in case we didn't quite snap it to the stream, but I'm pretty sure I did that. So I'm just going to keep a small search radius of 10 meters. And it's going to create a table of the distance along stream that each of the routes are. Okay, so let's run that. I think it finished. So I can open that table. Oh. Okay. So we only got out of that one feature at position 0. Hold on a second. Let's clear this. Let's close this. Okay, so you see trunk stream route. And make sure I might have had one of the features selected. Let's try this again. So input features is the tributaries. It shouldn't matter, but I'm going to select them all. And the route features should be the stream. Route identifier, that is interesting. It says keep only the closest route location, include distance field in the output table, include all fields from the input, use M direction offsetting. Route identifier field number. That is not so helpful. That's just tributaries locate feature. Let's try that again. I don't think it's going to work. No, it did work. So why did it work this time? I think because I cleared the selection and then made sure to select all of them. And it shows there's the, interestingly, it's, okay, that's the distance from the route, but the measured distance along the profile is right there. And so the usefulness of that is you could potentially plot these on your stream profile. And so you could see, well, it's just, we could kind of do that, right? So you could, let's just look at it at least. So let's select all on that route again, and then open up this and see the profile again. So we can see if those potentially have an association with the nick zones in the elevation profile. So my computer's a little slow at the moment, but so the lowest feature is down at like, so you could export this and bring it into Excel and plot these measured points, distances along the route. So the lowest one, oh, these are in meters. Hold on. Run this again. No wonder it's funny. Oh goodness, what's going on here? Seems like I broke it. Might be crashing my computer now. If it crashes, I'm going to end this video. Bottom line is you can see if these match up along your profile. And you can plot them together potentially as well and make a nice figure showing where those features, whether they be stream tributaries or like changing from one rock type, like volcanics to glacial or sandstone to mudstone, has an effect on the stream profile. So yeah, we'll stop here with this profile discussion. The main features here, we're thinking about how you could make sure to troubleshoot issues with your elevation profile, um, kind of using the create route feature, and then also how do you locate features along a route. Okay, we will stop this one.